Greetings, dear sewing people. Deb here again from Sat Puppy Sewing. Okay, so what am I going to talk about today? I haven't got a huge Friday sews for you, basically because I've been doing a bit of prep work for my Frugal frocks challenge. I'll link that down below. That's a challenge whereby we all are going to make a pattern, make a frock from a free pattern and use material from our stash. So it's been great actually, and I am making a video about my prep for that and what I'm going to make, but it's not due to come out until March, I think the 28th, and that is too close to the date of where we have to show our frocks, which I think is the 31st. So I'm making the video now so that I can upload it on the right date, and yet by then I will have actually decided and had a frock made. But the moral of this story is there is an awful lot in the way of free patterns available to us if we want to use them. And if you follow the people's vlogs that are coming out every day at the moment, as I say, that will be mentioned on the Frugal Frocks challenges below. There is some, I've certainly heard and seen things that I've thought, oh, that's nice, and you know, lots and lots of potential that I hadn't really thought about before in the way of free patterns. However, that has not mean that I have not bought anything. Yesterday I got hooked in by Winter Wear Designs. Well, actually the email came through this morning. Winter Wear Designs, and they had this, I think it's called the crop dress. I'll put it there. What I liked about this dress is it's a mixture of, it's got a knit top, and then it's got, you could potentially use woven for the skirt, or you could use a stable knit, and then it's got like a little top over the top, which is like you could use lace or chiffon or something like that. Well, I do have a bit of lace and chiffon. That's what hooked me into that dress, and the fact that it was the mixture of fabrics, because one of my limits, I've got a lot of knit patterns, and it isn't always so easy to buy knit fabrics here, and certainly not via charity shops, which is how I buy most of my fabrics. So yeah, I succumbed to this one because I thought it might turn out to be useful and quite interesting with that little overpiece, I think. Also wanted to just show you, I haven't got a lot cut out ready at the moment. As I say, I've been working on my Frugal Frocks challenge, but I do have a couple of things in my box ready. These are things that I'm considering. These are like work in progress. This one is a nice blue blouse, and what I like about it, it's a ready-to-wear blouse, and I was thinking of copying it. Now it does kind of fall off my shoulders a bit, but I could take that in. But what I really like is those tucks in the front. And I think I might have found a free pattern that has got a dress with similar tucks. And what I thought I could do is maybe print out the dress and then compare the top and the dress. So that was one idea that I may or may not get round to next week. And then there's this one, which is, if we look here, I am making myself some oven gloves, which I like that, but they haven't got chickens on. I've made the chickens before. The oven gloves are in this kind of fabric, and I've got a nice little, this is the oven glove, and I've got some nice, I bought them in a charity shop, and my husband was like, oh, but they're Australian. I bought this in a charity shop, but it's all Australian kind of things like that. I think they're rather sweet, but anyway, I'm going to use those ones because they kind of they go with this fabric and lift it up. So I'm going to make myself some oven gloves like that with Bushman salt on it. And the other thing, this is something that has been in my drawer for a while. Now I've based this off the Concord t-shirt, Cashmerette Concord, and what it is, I've found this material in my stash, and what I was thinking of doing was making a t-shirt but having it split at the front, so it's like a little over top in this what would you call this, like mesh, in this mesh, Just haven't got round to rethreading my machine and sewing it up yet, but hopefully I can show you that next time, just to show you that while I don't really make plans, I do sometimes cut things out in advance. I want to hold myself to account to actually get those things finished. They've been a while since I've cut those out. I just want to draw your attention to some awesome videos I've been watching, YouTube videos. I'll link them below. It's a YouTuber called Leena Norms, and she's a young YouTuber. In fact, she's about the age of my daughter, and actually kind of reminds me of my daughter in a way. Also, she lives in London, but I think she has got she's made some really interesting videos, but these two that I'm linking below are about clothing, and I thought one of them was, can clothes solve your lockdown blues? And she had some amazing and really insightful thoughts about clothes and what clothes are really for and what they're about, and you know, how they're kind of downgraded and yet they are a form of art. She said, yeah, and she said that during lockdown, which of course we've not really experienced here, but during lockdown she's kind of been deprived of that whole form of dressing where you kind of dressing and you almost creating a character for yourself by dressing and then living into it. If you want to hear more, I really recommend her video, as I say, link down below. And the other one was, just look here, what was it called? It's called about capsule wardrobes. Could she create a capsule wardrobe that's not boring? And I must admit, I like the idea of capsule wardrobes from one point of view, because, you know, if you're a bit of a minimalist like me, you really don't want to overbuy clothes and you want to get good value out of everything. But what I really liked about her take on capsule wardrobes was having one that's not boring. I felt a bit bored by it, and places where I've sort of thought I should buy that because it's a neutral, and this is an example. I'll just show you this now. I bought this in the charity shop. I actually like the coat very much, but I don't want to wear beige. I don't want to be a beige wearer. It's a nice coat, fits me well. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can dye it. If anybody knows anything about dyeing, let me know. It says the fabric is 41% polyester, 59% cotton. Do you think I could dye that another colour? If I can, I would really rather have a trench coat that was kind of low, a short trench coat. It's only 3/4. I'd like one that was like deep purple or something like that, you know, an unusual colour, maybe a beautiful green. But I really took her point about the capsule wardrobes, because that's what I want. I would like to have, you know, a bit more thoughtfulness, more of a capsule wardrobe, but not built around boring neutrals like black, white and beige. No, 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 no. That is not me. It's not my personality. So yeah, go and watch her videos if you want to hear more. Just the next thing I wanted to do was just answer some of your comments from last week, because you just bring me so much joy, the things that you say. So thank you all for your comments, and I do read everyone. And I know I'm sometimes a little slow to answer them, but you'll understand why when you watch this part of the video. It's Tuesday. I've been working at home today because of we're taking extra care because we've had a little mini outbreak in Auckland. So I've been set to work at home, and it's been hot today, and I've been staring at Excel spreadsheets all day long. It's cooling down a bit now, and I really should be going for a walk, but instead I'm going to answer your comments, because I do try to answer everything, but I have to wait till I get a big computer, because this thing is the most appalling thing to try and type on. That's why there's often a little bit of a delay when I answer your comments. But since your comments are often the best part of this whole thing, I want to just take a few minutes to answer them. So Practical Stitcher, she said, self-justification, blah, blah, too funny. She bought 3 cheap patterns this week. Cheap in inverted commas. I definitely don't need them, but I did it anyway. Yeah, Practical Stitches, she's in Canada. In fact, it looks really kind of remote where she lives. It looks kind of exciting to me. And she's just been making some videos about making hats. And then we've got Teresa here. She says, how lovely to say with more flesh, everybody's body becomes more individual. I have thought about this quite a bit, and I thought, you know, I get it now. Now that I sew, I get why they use models, because basically they want somebody who's got as little flesh on their body as possible. But if you take somebody who's like size 16, you could be size 16 with a little small top and pear-shaped, or you could be size 16 and you could have big boobs like me and a big tummy. I do think that's why that they do go for making for these slender people, because their bodies are more like each other and the clothes don't have to be fitted individually. Penguin and Pear said she liked the fact that my personality is starting to show through. Well, I could say the same to you, Claire. I love it too. I think it's maybe I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with this medium, and some of it is I have to do these videos so quickly. I have no time to stop and think or plan, and sometimes I think that's a weakness. I really do need to think a bit more about what I'm going to say first, but yeah. She thinks I might be a lot of fun and perhaps a naughty influence. Well, Claire, I can tell you that in my sewing class I was a bad influence. Any project that I made would be badly stitched in the bottom of my bag with a few boiled sweets sticking to it. I was absolutely no good at school at anything. But did we ever make anything useful? I think we just made aprons. I remember making an apron. Maybe we once made a skirt, an A-line skirt. I don't think it even fitted me. Yeah. Anne-Marie says, maybe you haven't cracked the fit, but you cracked me up, made me laugh out loud. Well, I'm so pleased if I have. I've learned to start fitting the shoulders, then do an FBA and length and shorten adjustments. So she does shoulders first, then FBA, and then length and shorten. That's probably the right way. I think I'm kind of gravitating towards that. Yeah. Now, she said, pants is a completely different kettle of fish. I hear ya, Anne-Marie, I hear ya. Sue said, great alterations right up my street too. Yeah, I hope it's not boring to see alterations, but I find it quite useful to see how people alter things, as long as they don't go on too long. Yeah, Mary says the Metro blazer looks so cute. Yes, I know, I can't wait to make it. Kate says, haha, keep not buying patterns and then something accidentally falls into my basket. Oh, I know exactly how that happens. In fact, that is one thing about being in the sort of sewing community, you just see too many interesting things and you get hooked in. So yeah, I think you would have to be like, in order to go sober, what do they say? Alcoholics have to stay away from the pub and from all their friends that encourage them, and I think we would have to do the same. You'd have to go and join a group of knitters or something, although some of the sewers do knitting too. Yep. Susan said thanks. Oh, she gave me some nice comments about her channel. I've been wanting to sew and buying fabrics and pattern, but then my motivation just fades away. Thank you for challenging me to get at it again. I know, and my motivation fades away as well. And I have to admit, if you look at my channel, there's an awful lot of quick and easy makes there, and a lot of that is just because I really don't have the time, energy or motivation to make anything really complicated. So my Make 9, if you look at my Make 9, it's a whole bunch of things that are much more complicated than I normally make. I might need to retire first before I make them. But hey, does it matter? Just make, have some instant gratification. Make that easy thing. We don't have to move forward. We can just keep on doing that. I mean, I've got a much better wardrobe than I ever had out of ready to wear. Jen from Jen's Sewing Room. Oh, I look forward to Fridays, she said. Yeah, well, I look forward to Fridays. I love this Friday sews. You're so right, it's fit. When you don't sew, you don't know that the reason why your clothes are not working for you is they don't fit you properly. Yeah, if I didn't sew, I'd be stuck with either clothes that don't fit or things made from really cheap, flimsy fabric. So true, so true. That is exactly what my wardrobe was like, things made from cheap and flimsy fabric. Here in New Zealand, I noticed when we came here that the clothes were fairly cheap. Most of them come from China. And when you look, most of it is kind of poor quality fabric, very thin. Yeah, she said she raised 5 kids on one income, so hand over the coupons and I'll see you at Goodwill. You're my kind of woman, Jen. Yeah, I'm so glad I found you. She said, I'm so glad I found you too. Hales said she liked the pink on me. I'm not sure it's possible to get the perfect fit unless you repeatedly make a pattern. I can't face making the same pattern over and over again unless it's a t-shirt that I know fits me. I know, you've got to have some variety, or otherwise it just gets incredibly boring to make the same thing again and again and again. She doesn't wear dresses much either because she doesn't like to wear tights, but she prefers t-shirt and shorts. I rest my case. Here are the shorts again. Oh dear. Sandra said I struggled to get the yoke chest to fit properly. It felt too tight across the chest. So that's the one that I made, the pink one. It felt too tight across the chest and under the arms. Now that is exactly the problem that I had. This yoke was really holding it too close. Maybe I needed to side up. The double flutter sleeve is adorable though. I will try it one day with the double flutter when I've got over the fact that I've just made 2 of them and I'm bored with it now. Thanks, Sandra. Hazel also bought the Metro blazer. She liked the wide lapel. I like them both actually. She liked the pink top. I have the same pattern but have never been tempted to make anything from it. Well, I guess, you know, if one thing our sewing channels can do maybe is to encourage each other to make up some of these patterns that we've got stashed away. Dotchi said that she liked that Friday Sew starts on Thursday with you and Kristen. Kristen, of course, is Dahlia Society and she's over in Melbourne, and of course we get the day first. However, she's always right on time for Friday Sews. I sometimes have Friday Sews up for the Northern Hemisphere time, not for mine, because I don't get it done till the end of the day. She made a toile of the Loden. Yeah, that was that jumper that I put on my last one. It was a free pattern. I used a light wool. I serged the edge in a sample and liked the way it looked. I sewed the seams inside and then serged the collar, sleeves and hem. I made no FBA and had huge wings under my arm. Oh, that is so interesting. I'm currently adjusting the pattern and hope the next one will fit better. Well, that's worth thinking about then, isn't it? Interestingly, I've just printed out a couple of free patterns and because there's no instructions or any measurements with them, I've been measuring them and I have never really measured patterns before. Yeah, that's probably a really good habit to get into. It's not a very pleasant habit to get into because one pattern I measured, I realised I was going to have to put 3 inches on the waist of the skirt. That brings you down a bit. Denise said tops, yeah, she's got the same problem. Tops are always too wide at the neck. I know now to cut the fronts a little narrower if they're cut on the fold, but then the hem goes up on the front. Yeah, I mean, basically, we have to do something for these. We've got to make some space for these ones. Pinky's Farm. I've been enjoying your videos too. Thank you, Pinky. Lynn. Love your Friday sews. I'm with the Sews on a Whim Brigade. I have lots of plans, but get hijacked by all of the pretty patterns. Sue K, thanks so much. Donita, the pink top is pretty and a great colour for you. When I lived in Ireland, I used to wear bright light colours like that. Stephanie says she also hates to waste time and fabric. Suggests I could make a jumper or a layer piece. Bit hot at the moment to think about layering though. It was 32 degrees this afternoon out on my deck. That is too hot. Past 27 degrees, I'm not really functional anymore. And Alicia, yeah, actually Letitia said that Whitney from Tomcat Stitchery has some great sewing tips for full bust. Yes, I must go on and check those out because I do like her blog a lot, and I mean, one thing about Whitney is she's very expert, which I am not. I'm just more, I call myself Slap Happy Sewing because, you know, you're going to get a lot of fun but inexpert sewing here. Thanks Teresa and Tanya, and Deb is also cheap. Yep. And Angela also says that she's cheap too, but she likes the word frugal better. Yeah, and she asked me if I'd become a grandma yet. No, baby's not due till July. So, yeah, I don't know how it's going to be. People tell me that it's actually really quite something to be a grandma. About being cheap, one of the things that is quite good about living in New Zealand is we don't, well, you can have Amazon here, but it will cost you a fortune. Like a lot of those really beautiful fabric shops and Amazon and all that, the postage to here would be astronomical. It's not even worth thinking about. So it's like that removes a whole raft of temptation from me. But PDF patterns are a temptation, and people who make lovely sewing videos showing beautifully made PDFs, yeah, that really does get me. Yep. Thanks ever so much for everybody's kind comments. I really appreciate them. Yeah, and now I think I'll have to go and have that walk. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next week. Bit more sewing, hopefully get those projects finished. And yeah, let's have a happy week and keep sewing. Bye for now. Bye.